are the Pacers being disrespected as home underdogs?
You know what, Joy, Key, Rick, in the green room, I said, no, they weren't getting disrespected, but the more and more I thought about it on the elevator ride up, they're completely getting disrespected. You got to understand, they went into Cleveland, beat them twice on their home floor. They beat a Giannis Antetokounmpo-led Milwaukee Bucks team. And then they go into game one in OKC and pop them. This is getting ridiculous. I'm tired of seeing them being underdogs on their home court. Do you know they've never not led in a series? They haven't trailed in any series. So, like, okay, they 1-0, 1-1. Do you know what happens next? 2-1. Then maybe 2-2. Do you know what? 3-2. They've never been down. They've never been down in a series. So stop with the disrespect. Stop putting them in as underdogs. Vegas, y'all need to change up your analytics because I know this is an anomaly. This is a glitch in the matrix. I understand that. But it looks like Neo got his cape on, and he's in Indiana.
What cape?
He looks like he got his cape on. He's flying through Indiana. And be prepared tonight for, in you guys' eyes, an upset. But in my eyes, this is Indiana's series to lose because, look, they found something there. I don't know if it's a pot of gold or steak and shake. I don't know. It's something in the food or the water.
Pot of steak and shake.
I'll have what Paul's having this afternoon.
That little coffee got me going.
Right? Red pill or blue pill? What do you think, Rick? Are the Pacers being disrespected?
A little.
A lot.
Look, the Thunder have led by a lot through the first two games of the series. So I get why that they would be favored the way they are. 5.5 points, considering the way the first two games have gone, really doesn't seem that much. But all that said, to Paul's point, Indiana is 6-2 at home, and OKC is 4-3 on the road. Now, here's the thing. The odds makers haven't been very good in predicting numbers when it comes to OKC because they are now 0-7 against the spread on the road. So I wouldn't take that 5.5 to the bank. But considering how things have gone to this point, I understand why you would favor OKC.
Are we taking 5.5 to the bank because we betting money? Or are we looking at it with our eyes on who's going to win, who's going to lose?
Well,
because I'm looking at it with my eyes.
So you are taking...
You're taking OKC.
You're taking
Absolutely.
OKC.
1,000%.
But are you taking OKC by 6?
OKC by, yes.
Whatever they win by, they win by. If they say it's 6, it's 6. If they say it's 3, it's 3. I know they're going to win the damn game. That's what I do know. I don't get caught up in the money because the odds makers, the money drives the odds. Who's betting on what? And that's all it is. I'm looking at it with my eyes to see the better team.
So you don't think they're being disrespected then?
No, they're not being disrespected at all. OKC's the better team. Think about this.
Wait a minute.
OKC is the better.
What are we basing that on? Because the series is 1-1.
I'm basing it on my eyes throughout the course of the season, from beginning to end, Rick. When we started this show on this series, who did you pick?
OKC.
Okay. So,
but then my eyes told me.
So they get a game that they win in game one. So we all of a sudden, everybody's going to get sidetracked now. We all getting ready to get sidetracked that OKC wasn't a 68-win team with the MVP. We just going to get sidetracked after one game. Then they bounce back, beat them by 16, and now all of a sudden, because Indy's going home, and they have to hold serve, because if they don't hold serve, it's going to be over with, Joy. It's going to be over with. I'm not going to get sidetracked for that. OKC was supposed to OKC was supposed to lap them according. Think about it.
Yeah,
they were supposed to walk them and lap them. It's 1-1.
They were supposed to.
It's 1-1.
But they haven't.
It's 1-1.
I mean, I don't know that it's disrespectful based off of the way the game 2 went.
No.
So when we're talking about it's not a massive spread. Like they're predicting that this will be a close game.
Actually, if you look at the way game 2 went, 5.5 might actually be a compliment, right?
Right, if you're basing off of what happened. But they are at home. They have played well at home. They haven't trailed in a series yet this postseason. So I think it'll just be another thing that they check the box on for them being underdogs and, you know, doubted and get the chip on the shoulder, and it's us against the world. And is it Indy versus everyone?
Indy versus everyone.
Started making those shirts? Yeah, absolutely. Naptown versus everyone.
Steak and shake versus everyone.
They literally got that's so funny.
What is it? The Frisco melt? Is that what's that? Yeah, I like it. I like the Frisco melt. Does the winner tonight, though, Rick, determine who wins the series?
I'm going to say yes, it does. History tells us, and I assume that this is my number is correct since it went through the checks and balances system. The team that wins Game 3 with a series tied 1-1 ends up winning the series 81% of the time. And I don't believe that these two teams are as disparate and as far apart as Keyshawn Johnson would lead you to believe. And so looking at the Pacers and looking at the fact that they have been up 2-1 in every series and then won the series makes me feel good about what that will say to OKC, having lost, being behind 2-1, and then having another game in Indiana. And I would presume that if Indiana does win, it's because their role players played better at home. There's no reason for me not to believe that that would happen again in Game 4.
So Ricky.
Yes, Key.
You say been up 2-1 in every series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did they play Cleveland?
Yeah, they play at Cleveland. Start the series.
And Cleveland was a little banged up, I would think, right? It was
Yeah,
not guys were in and out of that lineup.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can
okay.
use that as a rationale.
No, I'm just asking.
Was New York banged
Like
up?
one
I
game,
can't
one
remember.
And then what about Boston?
They didn't play Boston.
No,
Knicks
they
played
didn't.
Boston.
They didn't. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
they played New York.
No,
New
they
York-
played who though?
New York
had-
and Milwaukee.
New York
Oh,
and Milwaukee.
yes.
And Milwaukee was
Without Damian
banged up.
Lillard.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I'm
they-
just trying
New
to.
York wasn't banged up.
No, not New York, but
Yeah.
those other teams were banged up.
Yeah.
New York, they beat.
How far back do you want to go? They weren't
I'm
very
not-
good in November.
I'm just asking the
No,
question.
I'm just asking questions too.
That's all. I'm just
We're just
asking
asking
a-
questions. We're just
a
giving each
simple
other
question.
answers. We're just,
Look, man.
we're up here just trying to figure it out together, Key.
Does the
I know-
winner tonight win the series, Key?
No, that's not true. They will not.
Okay.
Okay, because if the Pacers win, I'm just gonna push it to 7.
Okay, so you're saying you just think OKC is going to win the series no matter what happens.
I do. I honestly do, and I think you do too. But you're just trying to play.
I don't.
You know.
I don't. I've kept my pick of Thunder in 7, which is very much still alive. But we will see if I change tomorrow.
So if OKC take
That's the
care
kind of show this is. We just
OKC
change
take care of business.
as it goes on.
If they take care of business
information.
tonight, then what? We gonna move the goalpost again?
We get to just decide what we want at any point in time. That's what we do around here.
Okay.
So you're saying no. Paul, does the winner of tonight win the series?
This is a difficult one for me, but I do believe that the winner tonight does win the series. And I'm picking Indy, but check this out. That'll mean Indy's going up 2-1. Now, OKC has not lost 2 in a row games all playoffs.
Yep.
So that would mean if Indy win this one, I guess history and numbers and percentages that y'all all throw out here suggest OKC is going to win the next game. When we talking about the Indiana Pacers, we need to throw all these numbers out. That 81%, 50 and 32, throw that out the window because everything Indiana has done this postseason has been thrown out the window. Odds, going on the road twice, winning in Cleveland, going on the road again, winning in New York. Just numbers don't apply to them. You know, I truly do believe they'll win the series. I do believe they'll win Game 3. But it's going to be about the attitude and the mentality they're going to have after they do it. They're going to be like, look, guys, if we didn't think we was better than them, we believe we better than them. And I said it yesterday. They would be able to create doubt. And that's the one thing I always told to our teams in a playoff series. We got to find a way to create doubt. Once a team start feeling a little doubt about themselves, that's the hole where you go in. That's where you plug them. And then that's where you just open it up and you just create a mystery on them to where they just don't believe no more. And you can see it. I've been in series where they let go of the rope.
Yep.
They let go of the rope. At Game 4, you get to the point and you like, we got them, y'all.
You know what's weird, Paul, is, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but watching Game 2, even though OKC was up by a lot after the second quarter, and They played even in the second half, but
They didn't let go of the rope.
Pacers
Indiana
never.
didn't.
What's that?
They didn't let go of that rope game.
They did not let go of the rope, and OKC
Yeah.
looked like they were still like on guard.
Yeah.
Like they could do
Yeah.
to us what they did
That's
to
what I
us in
noticed.
game one.
That's what
And
I
so
noticed.
I think in spite of the way game two went, there's still that little bit of doubt in OKC's mind after game one that we're never safe against this Indiana Pacers.
And that is true because they did the same thing against the Knicks. So why would you take your foot off the pedal when you know they have the ability and the wherewithal to come and get you at some point in time if you slip up and just close your eyes and
They've
think
done
you
it
got it in the
throughout
bag.
the whole postseason.
And they did it to OKC in game one.
Yeah.
Even though
So it's smart,
OKC
but
should
it's
have
smart
known they
enough-
were capable.
But it's smart enough for OKC to realize that what happened to them in game one, they could not have let happen again in game two. So they stayed the course.
You know what I see from them, and this is what our teams had in Boston when we were championship contenders. We knew no matter what the score, we would say it in timeout. 5 minutes to go was the number, right? No matter what the score was, down or up, we'd be like, all right, guys, this 5 minutes, it's time to press the button. And if you talk to anybody in NBA, or it's like when you say press that button, we know it's time to clamp down. We got to not turn the ball, and this has got to be our best basketball defensively of the rest of the game. And we were going runs, but we always knew when we looked up at the 5 minute mark,
Time to go.
no more, it's time to go right now. And I can see Indiana, it just seems like they leaning on that. And they got that extra, it's an extra gear. Like when you're in a car with the stick and you just got that extra gear that you can get to. Indiana has it because they've shown it all postseason. And they believe in late in the games they can put that extra gear in. I hope they can put it in extra gear with the lead.
Yeah.
If they can do it with the lead,
Or just not
OKC is in
have
trouble.
the separation that it's been. Like, they can't have the first halves that they've had to this point. They've just put themselves in too deep a hole.
No, and I think Halliburton needs to be a lot more aggressive. So is it kind of like when our producers say lock it in?
Yep, lock in.
Lock in?
That last 5 minutes, lock in.
They yelled at us before the show to lock in. Let's talk about the team Indiana eliminated from the playoffs. The Knicks coaching search rolls on after New York was denied a chance to speak with current NBA coaches Ime Udoka, Chris Finch, and Jason Kidd. The Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau on June 3rd, despite having just reached the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. Do the Knicks know that these guys are employed?
Apparently not.
I mean,
Crazy.
if you're these coaches' employers, aren't you like, who do you guys think you are?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Not only are these our coaches, but like we're doing very well.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Well, the Knicks regret firing Tibbs, Paul.
No, I don't think they'll regret firing Tibbs because I think they really believe that they reached the ceiling and he maxed out this team's potential, even though it was his first year with the trades. Now, their issues is going to be more of what they do at the roster for me. Because there's a number of coaches, and I had a chance to think about it. Obviously, they went after Kidd and Coach Ime with no success right now. But there's coaches that I feel can be an upgrade for them moving forward, championship coaches that are still out there. But I don't think they'll regret it. Even if you get another coach in here and say they don't make it to the conference finals, that wouldn't be a regret or a disappointment because their issues is roster. They need more depth. Obviously, when we look at these finals, we're seeing the depth from these teams. We look at the top teams in the league, Cleveland's, the Bostons, OKC, Indiana's. These guys, they have depth. And until New York Knicks solve that issue with adding some pieces to go with what they already have, then they're going to be right where they were this year, next year.
What if they got the depth, but Tibbs refused to use the depth?
Yeah.
Then that's why he got fired.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to tap in to that 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, 12 rotation. He just didn't want to go down the bench. So that's one of the main reasons I hear they said bye-bye and sent him walking.
Also, that style of play that the Knicks play is not going to win.
Right.
I understand.
That like,
It's only going to get you so far.
yeah, that's only going to, like, because there's a lot of Brunson with the ball and, non-ball and player movement. So they want to get a coach that has more continuity to the offense.
Look, it seems like they fired the coach without having a real plan. That's what it feels like to me. Because typically when you, in any of these sports, football, basketball, whatever, you know that you probably are going to exit with that coach at the end of the year based on the way the year ends, but you already put your ducks in a row let's say they fired him, what, in May, you would usually be talking about this to somebody in April. Hey, if it doesn't go this way, you know what I'm saying? If not earlier, hey, if it doesn't go this way, you know, I think I'm going to bring this Joy Taylor in. Mm-hmm. You would have that conversation. It feels like the people in New York never had a conversation. And it's okay to go after somebody's coach. It's fine. If you already know that they would be interested in you as well. But if you don't know and you take the fishing pole and you just want to cast it out to the ocean and hope that you get a big bite, that's the wrong approach. And I think that for them, it looks like a big administrative disaster based on what they just did by not having the ducks lined up to go after a J.C. Kidd or an Ime, which I don't even know. Ime just got there. Kidd's been there for a minute, but you going after coaches that got, like you said, Paul, or maybe it was you, Joy, that got solid foundations with good teams.
Yeah. I mean, it's Chris Finch, Udoka, and Kidd. Like,
yeah.
Like I was just made a deep run in the playoffs. Why would I want to go?
I mean, Kidd obviously makes some sense.
It does.
They're in a different situation.
Yeah.
But, like, why would Ime or Chris Finch leave?
Just do your homework and do your due diligence before you decide to fire somebody.
And it would be one thing if they had gone after Jason Kidd. To answer the question, I don't have a problem with them moving on from Tibbs. I feel as if they went as far as they were going to go with this team and with Tibbs running it. So that's not the problem that I have. But what they're going to regret is it getting out there that they tried to go after 3 currently employed coaches and couldn't get an interview or a conversation with any of them. And if you count Jay Wright, and supposedly they had interest in him and him saying no, this suddenly looks like a job you don't want to have. Like, you begin to raise the question, like, why is everybody just turning their back on it or refusing to push to say, I want to coach the New York Knicks when they just went to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Look like a team out west, huh?
The Lakers?
I didn't say no names. I just said a team out west.
I mean, Ime and Chris Finch makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
At least Jason Kidd is in a situation where they're kind of at a crossroads for their future, for what's going to go on in Dallas. We don't know what went on behind the scenes with the trade or how he's feeling about all that. And Jay Wright's another one. So now you're at 4 no thank yous.
Yep.
So, I mean, the thing about this firing to me, and I don't know if they're going to regret it. It's way too early to know if they're going to regret firing him. But if I'm a coach, I'm looking at why they fired him and where they are as an organization. Because he may have his shortcomings, but he did stabilize the organization and make them better every single year. They did go to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years, and boom, that's not good enough. Okay, so that sends a message to any coach to get this job that you better get an extra year on that deal. Because essentially, if getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, if being fired after 5 seasons, getting to the playoffs, having the 8th best record over the last 5 seasons, going and improving every single year, maximizing a roster, which we all feel like they did. We did not have them in the Eastern Conference Finals this year. So in my opinion, they overachieved, regardless of how this went down or if he got out-coached. So if you're a coach coming in, you know already you're dealing with an owner that is notoriously
mercurial.
Sure.
Unpredictable.
And if you don't get them to at least close to the Eastern Conference Finals, to the Eastern Conference Finals, or to the finals within the next 2 years, essentially, you're probably going to be fired.
It's funny you say that. I was listening to Ric Pitino the other day, and Ric Pitino was asked if he would want this job, and he basically just said what you said, Joy. He's like, no, why would I want that job? Because any coach that comes in there has got to at least get to the Eastern Conference Final. Because if you don't, all hell's gonna break loose.
Within the next 2 years, I think you'd probably have a year of being able to get past. I mean, you've got to get to the divisional round. Like you've got to make the playoffs. You've got to get past the first round. So I don't know that you necessarily have to get to the Eastern Conference Finals in your first year, but you certainly do by your second year.
Yeah,
that's a tough job.
It's a great job. It's a great job.
It's a great job, but it's a tough job.
But they're not making it look like a great job.
No, it's a great job. For one, you got a loyal fan base. And look, if I'm a coach coming in here, I'm going to want at least a 4-year deal.
I need more than that.
A 4 or 5 year deal. And you know what's going to make this a great job? Because say like I don't make it to the conference finals my first year. Let's say I get ousted in the first round. Let's say I get ousted in the second round the next year. You fired me. I got 3 years to sit on the couch and get paid.
Yeah.
Great job.
But you are.
I need
That's what
6.
we're saying. I'm going to need you to tag that extra little little 6. Yeah, I'm going to need 6 to go to New York. So where do the Knicks go from here, Rick?
Well, my first thought was hire somebody from the Indiana Pacers so you can figure out why you can't beat them. Go get Lloyd Pierce. But let's go after guys that we have a reasonable opportunity of getting. My first choice would be Taylor Jenkins from the Memphis Grizzlies. I think he lost his job essentially because of disagreement with the front office. They got rid of his coaching staff and brought in guys that were going to implement a new offense. I think that undercut him in a big way. He demonstrated prior to this past season that he has a great relationship with his players and they respect him, and has shown the ability to build a creative offense around a point guard dominant, point guard scoring, or scoring point guard. So I would look there, or I would look at not Chris Finch, but Mike Honori, who was the assistant coach who stepped in for Chris Finch during the playoffs last year when Chris was dealing with the patella tendon injury. He already has a established relationship with Karl Anthony Towns. And based on his personality and the way he handled himself while he was stepping in as the interim head coach, I think he could handle the New York market and the New York media. So that's what I would want to see. This is what I would have wanted to see from the beginning. It's like, give me a specific plan and achieve an achievable one and make it look like you've thought this out ahead of time, as opposed to, like, if you look at Chris Finch and you look at the 4 coaches that they're supposedly interested in, they're all different too. It's almost like we're just looking for a big name. And that to me is not a plan. That's a marketing strategy.
See, I feel like they could still get their fish. And what I mean by that is, yeah, it's off the table, in particular Jason Kidd right now, today. And we see it all the time with coaches. Teams want to acquire coaches that coach other teams. And the first thing that organization says is, no, he's not. We're not allowing you to do this.
Players.
Or even
Same
players
thing, right?
say, we're not going to allow, not right now. We're not interested. And over time, things change. And when you alienate, and I call it alienating, a guy like a Jason Kidd that clearly had some interest in wanting to explore the opportunity to go coach in New York, and then you tell him he can't have the permission to go just see if there's a free apartment building there for him, he may come back around, his representatives may come back around and say, look, what are y'all doing? He wants to have an opportunity to see what's out there based on the way this management structure is being done here in Dallas. He's not very happy, and you don't want a disgruntled employee walking down the hallway looking at you, and y'all get on the same elevator, and he says no words to you because of what you did to him with the New York Knicks. So I still think that could still be in play. The value may go up now, and they may ask for a little bit more, opposed to what they thought they could get before. Now, all of a sudden, it turns into 2 1s and a couple players here and there. So I think they still in play. I'm not willing to just say, no, they're done with the Jason Kidd scenario.
Where do the Knicks go from here? I've been thinking about this, and I'm glad you asked.
Me too.
Listen, I think they always had a plan. No, listen, though.
Drama queen sometimes.
No, look, I think they had a plan. I think them going after Jason, Ime, and them, they was just swinging for the fences. They just, let's, like you said, thought of cast. Let's, you say something to her just to see.
Say something to her?
Yeah, just to see.
Oh,
See if it
God.
lands.
Where are we going with
get
this?
someplace.
See where you at?
Yeah.
They just threw it out there to see what I think they had a plan. Because you got to understand, these coaches, they're more than qualified.
What would you say to it, Paul?
Mike Malone. Mike Malone. Look, championship coach. Coach Bud, championship coach. There's still options out there. They was going for the home run. That's all they was doing.
They were
swinging for the fences.
No, he said you throw it out there, too.
Yeah, like what's his line
What
now?
would be the line?
Yeah.
It would
Not,
be,
not on
I
national
don't know.
TV.
What would be the line?
Not on national
Never mind.
TV.
You already know.
No, she's
Never mind.
Fishing for a good time starts with throwing in your line.
So basically, you're saying they were trying for a category that was way over their skis.
Yeah, just to see.
Yeah.
just to check it out.
Just to
Yeah.
check
Put
it
their
out.
toe in the water.
Check this temperature.
out.
Yeah. I think that they should be looking at guys who are available. I think Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone are obviously good options. I think Taylor Jenkins would be a great hire for the Knicks. I know he's kind of out of the conversation rotation, but Frank Vogel is available as well. He's a championship level coach who's obviously dealt with big markets and big personalities. But that might be an issue if there's, a KD deal.
Sixth job, huh?
Did win a championship in LA, so I think it would be a good hire as well. But if you're looking at assistants, I mean, Sam Cassell has been an assistant coach for 16 seasons.
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
So if you're looking for a first-time head coach, I like the idea of a guy who's been around as long as he has. He's earned the opportunity. So,
and there's been a lot of success with young coaches lately. I mean, Ime Udoka is a perfect example.
Is Sam? What is he? Number one on the? So you go ahead and you snatch him from Boston. Now you dilute that coaching staff by grabbing their number one assistant.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have a lot of options out there. I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Rick. Like, why? You don't look like you have a plan if you're just shooting at guys who have
scattergun.
Yeah, and they're not the same style. So you're not fixing the quote unquote maxing out of the style of play or style of coaching is not going to work thing, because you clear all of these guys have different coaching styles, and they all are in good organizations with good situations. Jason Kidd is the only one that, just because this has come up, that we've been like, maybe he could leave.
To use Paul's analogy, you're walking into the club and you're asking chicks that are already with somebody.
It's already taken.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But see, you know what? Let me see what
But you can
what are we doing?
Paul, you can hate on dude real easy.
That's what they was doing. They was hating.
You just hate on him real easy. Damn, you in here with him?
That's risky business. That doesn't always end well. We have to call up security.
Right.
Security's got him in a headlock.
Right.
He's out here making mistakes.
Is that your dude?
Oh, man. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.